IVM.
And we're in November, safe and healthy. You have a roof over your head, food on the table, so count your blessings. Hi, this is Shifa Maitra, and you're listening to Smile India, the podcast that gets you uplifting news from India. So let's get started. When you hear of a woman called Bhawani Devi who's practicing fencing with a sword, the image that comes to mind is of an erstwhile princess in a palace with a retinue of staff applauding her. The reality is nothing like that for Bhawani Devi, India's first female fencer. This 26-year-old from Chennai is the daughter of a priest and a homemaker. In 2017, Bhawani was the first Indian fencer to win an international tournament, but she was all alone at her win in Iceland, a turning point for her and fencing as a sport in India. Hers has been a lonely journey with limited training facilities and parents struggling to finance her sport. Bhawani took to fencing at the age of 10 in school since all other slots in sports were filled. She did well in it and enjoyed learning new moves. Post-school, the Sports Authority of India sent her for training to Kerala. By now, she was brilliant, but her training in India was done. The family could not afford to send her abroad, and she would have to put down her sword. Luckily, she got selected by Go Sports Foundation for a scholarship program and was sent to train in Italy. During the pandemic, she came home and now gets coached via video conferencing. Ranked 45th in the world, Bhawani has a good chance at the Tokyo Olympics when they happen. Here's hoping we see more girls take to fencing and say, I have the power. Patwa Toli is a village in Bihar's Gaya district where traditionally people worked on looms and made just enough money to survive. 10 years ago, Jitendra Prasad over here decided that he would appear for JEE exams and make it to IIT without coaching. The elders didn't even know what he was talking about. Today, thanks to his gutsy move, every home in this village has an engineer. Son or daughter, they all now have a family member either an IIT graduate or studying there. This is a small village with 1,500 families, and so many engineers is a huge achievement. Like Jeetu Bhaiya from the show Kota Factory, Jitendra started a movement. He's now in the US, but thanks to him, life has changed for everyone in this village. Earlier, students had to study from handed down notes, and if an engineer was coming from abroad, some community laptops were gifted. Then around 2000, when a few students came home from IIT in the summer, they started teaching others in a manner that would help them ace exams. When 7 out of 16 in the next batch got through IIT, their parents were felicitated at a local function, and that set the ball rolling. Ex-students began Nav Prayas, where students are coached in maths and science. Over the last 10 years, every family's economic situation has improved, and girls are not married off at 16. But the nervousness on the day of the JEE results is still a collective feeling. It's now time to check out two amazing brothers in Odisha's Boden town. Saundarya and Prachurya Pradhan have been busy through the lockdown. They are both visually challenged and extremely bright. As children, their uncle taught them chess, a game they grew to love and excel in. In the 2018 Asian Para Games in Jakarta, Saundarya won a silver medal for the nation. Last year, when they were able to access the internet faster thanks to 4G, the boys took to playing chess online as well. While Pracharya also began studying to be a chartered accountant, Saundarya took to playing chess with people across the world along with his BTech course. He only speaks English with an American accent because that's how he learned the language while interacting with American players online. When the pandemic struck and most people were upset, Saundarya got a call that was life-changing. He was hired by the chess club Black and White to coach people on how to play chess. Soon he had students in Lucknow, New York, and different parts of the world. As the workload increased, Prachurya also took on some students. Their fame spread, and the brothers have conducted around 60 webinars for different institutes. The income and the joy of doing what they adore has made these brothers love the new normal. A delightful bit of news comes in from Mumbai. While the lockdown has affected everyone across the world, we've seen people also helping out the less fortunate. Especially with the festive season on, it's important to help those who need it, those who are not the kind to ask themselves. With cricket not being played like it used to, coaches, umpires, and support staff are floundering. Cricketers Foundation, a public charitable trust, helped out some umpires who were retiring. But as time went by, they heard of seasoned coaches now in their 80s and 90s who'd almost run through their savings in the pandemic. So they had a function to felicitate and gift money to Hemant Harkar, Ashok Kamath and Sharad Rumre, coaches who devoted their lives to cricket. I think it's a wonderful gesture to help your gurus. Mentioning them in interviews is not enough. I suggest you look around too and help senior citizens who would be too hesitant to ask. Another suggestion I have is to go easy on revenge shopping this holiday season. It's a real thing. I believe people are going overboard at online sales, almost like they deserve to splurge after being locked down. Well, for one, the virus is still around, and more importantly, I think we all did fine with less during the lockdown. Remember what you told yourself from March to May? Sure, spend since it's an important festival, but please be sensible. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on IVM Network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, it's at Shifa Maitra on Instagram and Twitter. I will see you soon with a new episode of Smile India.
I hope you enjoyed that show. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I want to let you all know about 2 new shows that we've launched this week. The first one is Millennial Athlete, hosted by Tanvi and Shlok. Both of them are, they spent their life playing badminton, and they know a lot of athletes, and they want to talk about the particular challenges that athletes face. Really, really great conversations. Do definitely check that out. The other show that I wanted to mention to you that we launched this week is Naan Curry. Naan Curry is a show about it's about food and the history of food and the economics around food and its consumption and all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really interesting conversation. It's hosted by Sadaf, an author chef and former MasterChef India finalist, and Archit, who is a researcher who writes on behavioral science and economics. Definitely worth checking out. Besides that, we had a great week as always, right? Great stuff on all the normal shows. Do check those out. But with that, hope to see you again next week.
Entertainment is like food for the brain. It's a window to culture and a great way to understand the world around us. The internet has changed what it means to be an entertainer, creating new storytellers with millions of fans. It has spawned a new breed, the story sellers, those behind the scenes creating the business for this ecosystem. They work with brands, platforms and channels who are keen to capitalize on an audience hungrier than ever for more stories. I'm Vineet Kanabar, and I have a ringside view to how stories are told and sold. On my show, I bring you creators, artists, executives and marketers for a freewheeling conversation around the business of entertainment. Tune in to Storytellers and Story Sellers for personal stories, analysis and criticism every Thursdays as I talk to the brightest minds telling or selling great stories today.